welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to continue my full face drugstore series by doing NYX Cosmetics. They have just been releasing a bunch of new products. I did a full review and wear test on both of their new complexion products. We have the Born to Glow foundation and then the Bear With Me tinted skin veil. So I will link both of those down below and up above. Then I went ahead and made a big order on their website. So we do also have some new stuff to play with. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into my full face of NYX Cosmetics. So I have already gone ahead and moisturized my skin. Now it is time to go in with primer, and I do have two primers from NYX. These are two that I already had in my collection, so I didn't go out and purchase these, so I can let you know my thoughts already on them. So we have the NYX Away We Glow Strobing Cream, very similar to the MAC Strobe Cream. Then we have the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer, which is a very popular one. So I'm going to start off by putting the Away We Glow all over my face, and this is in Bright Star. I believe they have 3 different tones to this. This one is like a very white champagne tone, and I'm just going to put that pretty well all over my face to get a nice glowing effect, and then I'll go in with this kind of blurring primer in my T-zone and areas that I tend to get a tiny bit more oily. I do really like this strobing cream. I don't reach for it a whole bunch just because I do have so many primers, but every time I do, I'm really impressed by it. The consistency, it gives like a tiny bit of hydration, which I like, and it does have a really nice glowy tone to it. It really picks up and reflects the light. Now we are going to go in with the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. This is more of a silicone primer. It has a white-ish color to it. I have dry, dehydrated skin, so I definitely don't use a smoothing blurring primer on a daily basis just because I reach for more hydrating primers. But in terms of smoothing and blurring primers, this is a really good one. This is how the skin looks with both of those primers applied. You can see that the luminosity from the strobing cream is kind of settled down due to this Angel Veil. It just mattifies that area a little bit, so we're not as shiny in here and not as shiny in here, but we do still have an overall glow and luminosity to the skin. Now I have 2 options for skin. As I said, I have reviews on both of these, so be sure to check those out if you want a full in-depth review and wear test on both of these. But I do enjoy both of them. They just do different things, and for a more full face look, which we are going for today, I'm going to go in with the Born to Glow and then bounce it out with a Real Techniques sponge. That is my preferred method of application. Not super duper coverage, not super glowy, just like a really nice healthy looking foundation. I've really been liking this one since I tested it out for the first time about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago I think now. And I do really like it. It's a good match for me. It wears really well throughout the day, so no complaints about this foundation. I think it looks really, really nice. Now we are going to build up the coverage and get a nice flawless complexion with concealer. So I have the NYX Gotcha Covered Waterproof Concealer. This is the one that I already had in my collection, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. I like a more thin, liquidy concealer that I can build up. This one is definitely more thick, tends to crease a little bit easier, but it does have that nice full coverage, so we might go in with a bit of that on my spots down here. Then I picked up the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Contour Concealer. We'll start with the one that I'm used to. Try and get more coverage on these chin spots. I'm just not a fan of concealers that have this type of consistency. It's like a sticky, almost greasy type of consistency, very similar to the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, which I'm also just, I don't know, I tend to like more liquidy concealers. I don't even feel like that gave that much more coverage, so I gave it a go, but I'm really not the biggest fan of this. But I am very excited. Ooh, it says this is up to 24-hour wear, matte finish. Really apply it anywhere that I want more coverage, which is where I have scarring on my cheeks and then where I have my breakouts. It looks like it's pretty full coverage. the concealers mixed together with the foundation. It's looking very patchy, very cakey. We've kind of lost coverage around my mouth here. Go back over a little bit with the Born to Glow foundation because I know this works for me and those concealers maybe don't. I was really excited about this one, but it's a little too thick and dry for what my skin likes. I think we are looking passable. I still don't think it looks amazing. There's definitely still caking. Obviously, putting more product on top didn't help, but I honestly just think it's the silicone primer on my skin. Not always the best. I have to be super moisturized to make that work, and I think I used a little bit too much. And then 2 high coverage mattifying concealers. Again, too much for my skin to handle. So I think going over a little bit on top with the glowy foundation and some mist made it look a lot nicer. Now we are going to go into powder, which unfortunately I do not have a NYX product for. I'm going to be using the MAC Cosmetics Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation in NC15 with my favorite Sephora Pro 55 brush. Yes, you may be thinking, why go in with powder if you are looking powdery? This powder is magic for me. It makes my skin look flawless, and then it helps everything on top, bronzer, blush, highlight, everything go on much nicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and set in my face with the MAC Studio Fix. Now that I'm done with powder, I think it looks so much better. That MAC product is literally a savior. I know that has nothing to do with this full face because it isn't NYX, but it definitely saved the look and made everything look very smooth. Now I'm going to go in with another mattifying product, and this is the NYX Matte Bronzer, and mine is just in the shade Light. I just picked this up today. I made my order on NYX, and then I realized that I didn't have a bronzer. It looks like it's a really nice tone. So I'm going to go in with my Sephora Pro 55, which is what I use for face powder. Go in and bronze the face up. Okay, so for the bronzer, it's definitely a very warm toned reddish bronzer, I would say, and I don't have very many like it in my collection. I typically go for very neutral bronzers, and this one is just a little more red and warm than I would typically go for. I love the finish of it. I love that it's matte and it's not taking away any coverage on my cheeks, because some bronzers do that, and I really have to be careful about that because of my cheek acne pigmentation. I love the blendability. I love the coverage. I would say I love everything about it except the tone, but once we're all done the makeup, we will see sometimes that really changes things up. But when you just have bronzer on, sometimes you really notice that undertone. While I was applying that powder, my camera overheated, so I turned it off for a little while and decided to go and apply my highlighter, which, as I said, I don't have from NYX. So I went in with ColourPop Stole to Show. Have it definitely hit pan, and it is a very well-loved highlight. So now I want to move on to brows to define them before we go into eyes, and I picked up the NYX Tame & Frame Tinted Brow Pomade in Brunette. If you consistently watch my channel, you know that I never put anything but Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade on my eyes. I just fell in love with it years ago. I find that it works best for me. I don't do well with pencils, so I figured I should branch out and try a different pomade from a different brand. Shade looks pretty good to me. I feel like that's even a little bit light for being called brunette. I can't remember how many shades they had, but this to me appears to be very similar to Anastasia's blonde shade. It definitely gives a similar look, but I'm not super impressed right off the bat, but it does give a nice shape. So now I'm going to jump back into my face, and we are going to go in with blush. I'm super excited about this. I do not own a shade like this in my collection. I go for more baby doll bright pinks or corals. This is more of a mauve. It is called Mauvin Out, and this is their high definition blush. I'm gonna go in and apply this with my Sephora Collection Pro Mini 55. This is my preferred blush brush, and apply this to the cheekbones. That's a really pretty shade. Okay, I definitely went a little bit heavy with that blush, so I just took a little bit of the Dermablend loose powder, and I'm just going to dust that over my cheeks. Super, super pretty. I really like that blush shade on me. They're relatively new Off Tropic shadow palette. This is in Shifting Sand. I'm going to start out by going in with this nice matte cream shade, and I'm just going to put that pretty well all over the lid, kind of buff it into the lid with this packing brush. That just gave the tiniest bit of color. Now I'm going to go in with the Sephora pointed crease brush, and I'm going to take that like mustardy yellow shade right here beside the pink, and I'm going to put that all into my crease. Ooh. Okay, so that is how that shade looks all over the crease, just pretty sloppily. That gave a lot more pigment than I was expecting. It's a little more orangey, deep yellow as well. It's less muted than it might look, but super, super pretty. Now I'm going to go into this like raspberry pink shade with my flat shader eyeshadow brush. Pack that into my outer portion of the eye and then blend that into the yellow. That is pigmented. And now that that's packed into each outer corner without too much fallout, thankfully I'm going to go in with a clean, fluffy crease brush and blend that into the other shadow. So the second you start to blend that, it really blends away. You can see there. I'm barely pressing and it's just completely blending in. Okay, I'm gonna try and go directly into that pink, I guess, with this fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to try putting it into the outer corner that way. Yeah, it's not really wanting to build up. Now, I guess with what I have going on so far with this look, it makes the most sense to go in with this orange shimmer shade. So I'm gonna try going in with a flat shader. Okay, so my camera shut off again, but this is how the eyes are looking. Definitely not what I expected. I wanted it to be a lot more pink, but we have a nice orange, red, yellow look going on, which still ties in well with the liner. So on the lower lash line, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Off Tropic Pro Liner, and this is in Pineapple Punch. This shade is stunning. They have so many bright, vivid shades. They have a hot pink, a bright green, like so many fun, bright colors. So if you're looking for a good bright liner without actually having used it, the colors in this are amazing, the colors in this formula. So I'm just going to put this all in the lower lash line. So that is how the lower lash line is looking. It looks so crazy without mascara and lashes, but it is definitely super pigmented. I did have to build it up a little bit to get the full pigmentation that I wanted. And it is a little more of a dry formula than I anticipated, a little bit less creamy, but you definitely don't have to tug too hard. It still goes on super nice, just not as smooth as I thought it would, but it looks amazing. Such a bright, vivid color, looks crazy with this orange. NYX makes lashes, but I didn't love the ones that they had. I like a more faux mink look. I'm going to go in with the Kiss Lash Couture Faux Mink Collection Lashes in Midnight. These are a little more dramatic, and I think they'll go with the dramatic eyeshadow. And now that I'm done my lashes and my mascara, I love these lashes. They are so pretty and wispy and voluminous. We are ready to go in with lips. NYX does lip liners really, really well. My favorite ever lip liner from them is the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Color Lip Liner. Such a long name. And this color is Nude Suede Shoes. This is my go-to nude shade. It is so gorgeous. So that is how the lip looks with just that lip liner. Super, super pretty nude. Goes with everything, and it's my perfect pale girl nude. It took me forever to figure out what kind of nude looked best on me without getting me super washed out. Now we are going to go on top with this lip filler Instinct, and again, this is in Sparkling Please, which is like a nice neutral champagne-y pink. It goes really, really well with that lip liner shade. And here is the final look. I think it turned out really, really well considering how rough we were looking in the beginning. Overall, I didn't love a ton of the new products that I tried. I'd say out of the new stuff that I tried, I was most impressed with the yellow under eye liner and the bronzer. I think in the end, the bronzer ended up looking really, really nice. I would say the brows aren't great. great. I found it a little bit dry. I'll keep playing around with it, but I think I do prefer my ABH brow pomade. Wasn't super impressed with the eyeshadow palette. I was so excited about it, and it just, the shade that I was most excited about, that raspberry pink, just kind of blended out into nothing. So we ended up going for an orange eye, which is all right, but it wasn't what I intended. The concealers, I'll keep testing that other one, but I think they're a no from me. And then I really do love the Born to Glow foundation, so that really saved the day putting that back over top. And then the lip products, I love both of them. So I would say overall it is definitely more hits than misses, especially because I was used to a lot of these products. But out of the new stuff that I tried, unfortunately I'm not obsessed with too much of it. Definitely be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I have a bunch of other full face drugstore videos on my channel. I have Maybelline, L'Oreal, and Pixie. And if you are finding me through this video or you aren't already subscribed, please be sure to do so. It really helps me out. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you had an absolutely awesome day. Bye!